Welcome to this fast-track guide to K13, Principles of Data Analysis. Let's get straight to the point. Data analysis is the professional process of turning raw data into evidence that helps businesses make smart decisions. It's about moving away from opinions and guesswork and towards conclusions based on facts. For your endpoint assessment, this is a critical skill. You need to provide evidence in your portfolio and your final project that you can use data to understand problems and, most importantly, to measure the success of your work. You can apply these principles today, regardless of your specialism. First, before you start any significant task, practice asking a clear question: what specific problem are we trying to solve, and what number will tell us if we've succeeded? Second, get curious about the data that already exists around you. Look for performance logs, support tickets, or team reports. This is the raw material for analysis. Third, challenge the data you see. When someone presents a chart, ask critical questions like, what's the source of this data, or could there be another way to interpret this? The easiest way to start is to talk to your manager. Tell them you're focusing on data analysis for your apprenticeship and ask them to explain the key metrics your team uses to measure success. To get the marks for K13, you must document your actions effectively in your portfolio using the STARR method. It's the structure assessors look for. First, S for situation. What was the context? For example, a stakeholder claimed a new login process was slow. Next, T for task. What was your goal? My task was to investigate this claim using data, not just opinions. Then, A for action. This is where you name the principle. I applied the principle of data analysis by accessing the system performance logs. I extracted the login events for the past week and calculated the average completion time. Finally, R for result. What was the outcome? The data showed the average login time was 1.2 seconds, which met our targets. I presented this finding, which provided clear evidence that resolved the concern and allowed the team to focus on other priorities. This is a perfect piece of portfolio evidence. For your major project, using data analysis is not optional, it's how you prove your project was a success. Your final report must have a section titled Project Evaluation or Measuring Success. In this section, you have to answer the assessor's biggest question: how do you know your project actually worked? To do this, you need to show your data. At the start of your project, you should have defined what success looks like in measurable terms. For your evaluation, you must present the before data, the after data, and a clear comparison between the two. This is the single most effective way to demonstrate the impact and value of your work to the assessors. Here is your final action plan for K13. First, this week, seek out one KPI your team uses and understand it. Second, implement the principle of critical thinking by finding and critiquing one chart you see at work. Third, as soon as you've done one of these, write your STARR reflection while it's fresh in your mind and get it into your portfolio. Finally, and you can do this right after this session, open your major project plan and add a section called Evaluation. Under that heading, make a list of the specific, measurable data points you will use to prove your project was successful. This simple act of planning will set you up for success in your EPA.